up in Prince George, we have Northern FanCon. We're on the 4th year now.
They've reached out to me.
Have they?
Yeah.
It'd be an honor to see you there.
Thank you. I want to go. I didn't really get to see it. Anyways, let's start the interview. We're already doing it.
Sure. Like Vancouver Fan Expo 2017, and this one's going out to Ben Gibson because it's his fault that I am now interested in this incredible cosplay model from British Columbia. Hello, Riddle. How are you?
Hey, how are you?
I'm great. How are things?
I'm great. I'm more of a maker than a model. I try to take good photos. They don't always turn out so hot. But thank you very much.
What got you into cosplay?
So what got me into cosplay was I was really young and I was just getting into anime, and I lived in the very rural town of Port Hardy, BC.
Yeah.
And I saw these girls in this anime, and I was like, wow, she's so outgoing and fun and sexy, and everybody likes her, and I was shy and awkward. So for Halloween, I got a friend's mom to help me make the outfit, and I didn't know cosplay existed. I didn't know it was a thing, and I kept doing it. And as far as I know, I had invented it. I was like, man, let's all dress up from comic books and video games, and I never see that anywhere. And then I went to a con a few years later, and I saw other people doing it, and I really it was just kind of an outlet for me to show my appreciation for the character. I mean, I drew, but it was fun to get to be that character for a moment. And then even at cons, cosplay wasn't as big back then, so we were still kind of like, what is that? What are they doing? Kind of like sometimes be like, that's weird. But we loved it because you knew when you saw somebody in a costume that they loved that series. It's like wearing a nerdy t-shirt like times 1,000.
Right. You are a maker, you said. You create the majority of your cosplay?
Yeah, I pretty much create the majority of my cosplay. I can do molding, casting, sculpting, sewing. Wig styling's a little weak. My pattern making's a little weak. But I'm constantly trying to learn new skills, and I'm trying to teach myself something. So not only do I get to be these characters, but at the end of it all, I've taught myself a set of skills that will be, helpful in future career paths, which it has been.
Favorite material to work with and least favorite material to work with?
Goodness, I always get asked this. To be honest, I really like muslin because it's really cheap, really flexible. It's what I used to do all my mock-ups in because I never make anything without first doing a mock-up.
Yeah.
I also really, it's stinky. I really like fiberglass because it's, forgiving and inexpensive, and, you can paint it and you can make a really strong, lightweight product. And latex can be fun because you glue it, put it together. So yeah.
Do you have any sort of creative control over your photo shoots?
Yeah, I have tons. Pretty much the costumes are my art, and I discuss with the photographer how I want my art to be displayed.
Really?
So sometimes if I have an idea on like a storytelling thing, like I'd love to tell this story, I want to recreate this comic book cover, I'll go to the photographer. Or I'll be like, how about this pose or this location? And even after the photos are shot, I discuss with the photographer, hey, can you fix this wacky hair that was out of place? Or even just recently I did a photo shoot up at Gross Mountain while I was here, and the character has blue eyes, but I was having issues with the contacts. So I discussed with the photographer, hey, just so you know, we have to digitally change my eye color. But yeah, in the end, I want something the photographer and I are both proud to put forward with. So yeah, there's a lot of talk back and forth. And I think just with any photographers out there, if you can contact the cosplayer you've shot, always show them the photo before you just post it up on the net.
Yeah.
Because you might think it's a great photo, but the cosplayer might not think it's that great a photo, and then it could sabotage your chance of shooting them again.
Good advice.
Yeah.
What projects are you working on for the near future?
Cosplay-wise, I'm finishing up some costumes I've half started. There's a female Edward Scissorhands from the Kotobukiya line.
Wow.
Linkle from Hyrule Warriors. Nina from Breath of Fire 2, which is an old RPG that I loved. And I'd love to start working on a WoW character, because I used to play WoW religiously. And I really want to do a Blizzard costume. But to be honest, currently I work as a specialty costumer on films in Atlanta. So my cosplay is kind of slowed down because I'm so tired by the time I get home that I'm like, I'll work on that on the weekend.
I don't want to take too much more of your time, but what do you work on in Atlanta?
Well, let me just say there's a lot of Marvel films.
That makes sense.
Actually, you can probably check out my IMDb, and it would I haven't posted the newest one, but you can kind of figure out what I'm working on.
That's incredible.
Yeah, it's honestly, it's because of cosplay. It's the skills I gained through cosplay. So, I mean, a lot of people see it as like an outlet to be your favorite character, but honestly, if you really love cosplay and you really focus, like let's say you're like, I love styling wigs, and you focus on that, it can be a stepping stone towards something else. Or you're like, I love makeup effects. I know cosplayers that have really been into it, then they went to school and now they're working on The Walking Dead. And even in my case, you know, I know how to fix things and repair things, and I still have a lot to learn compared to like a lot of the people who've been doing this in the field, movie field, for years and years and years. But because of that, now I get to work as an on-set specialty costumer for film and television.
That's incredible.
Yeah, so it really is a stepping stone. So I always try to encourage people to look at the big picture of cosplay and great time management, and hopefully you'll learn how to budget.
Where can people find you on social media?
I'm on Facebook under Riddle's Messy Wardrobe, and then on Instagram and Twitter under Riddle, but it's RIDD1E. If you come to Instagram and you see some squirrel photos, you're in the right place.
Incredible panel of cosplayers are present, including yourself. You are Missy Mayhem.
I certainly am.
Thank you for taking some time with me. Where are you based out of, and what type of cosplay do you prefer to do?
I'm actually based out of Texas. For the longest time I've lived there, and that's just my home, my community. And I actually kind of gravitate towards anime cosplay, but I dabble in like every sort of fandom. I'm actually really getting into like movie watching. My dad was a really big kind of movie buff, and I would always watch movies with him. I would walk into the living room, catch a movie right in the middle. I would watch it, and then we'd play it again so that I could catch up to where I was. And that's how I would watch movies, and it kind of trained me to really like sequels or prequels.
Okay.
Just because like the way I would watch things, I would come in the middle and then see the beginning. And oh, that's how they did that.
So you're a big fan of story?
Yes, I'm very story-based. So like when I play video games too, it's not like shooters or anything. I am massively like involved in playing like JRPGs and just like very story-based things like the Walking Dead video game, which some people don't like, but I love it because I am super just like story-based. I also love wrestling, and I love following like the storylines and seeing all the drama of it.
What got you into cosplay then?
It started when I was a wee one.
Okay.
I loved video games when I was growing up. I would play with my brothers, and then my family kind of ran out of money, so you know that anime stuff is kind of free if you know how to do it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So I started getting into anime, and anime is very closely tied in with like cosplay. And so I saw what cosplay was, and I learned that there was a convention in my area, and it was just in its second year. So I went, and I just wore like Halloween stuff because I didn't know that people can possibly like make things. Even though I was artistic, I just didn't understand textiles or anything like that. Okay. So I go and I meet a bunch of like real cosplayers, you know, like really cool cosplayers. I was like 13. This is like 10 or 11 years ago.
Okay.
So I go and I'm like, wow, you can make things? Wow. So like that really inspired me. I immediately got home and I was like, Dad, how do I get a sewing machine? Can you help me? Like I'm 13, you know, I'm a little helpless goldfish. Okay. Like in Sharkland. So his friend like just has a sewing machine for no reason. So, yeah, I know. So, they give me the sewing machine. That I am so thankful for. And I went ham.
Really? So, you prefer to work with softer materials as opposed to, like, armor materials?
I love sewing. And I feel like sewing is a lot more intricate than, like, armor things. Because, like with sewing, the materials, you have to know what kind of needle you need to use, what kind of stitch is best for it, what kind of stitch is best used for the effect that you want. And as well, just like fabric is like another dimension, yeah. I guess, at least in my opinion. And I appreciate all cosplay, but I feel like I appreciate design and kind of fabric craft and textiles a lot more because I know how difficult it can be to do everything well and by the book, you know?
Do you have creative control over your photo shoots? Because you have quite the intricate spread here.
Oh, thank you.
I mean, it's impressive. I can't believe the Supergirl one. How'd you do that?
Okay, well, with the Supergirl one, we have like a display train. It's a real train. It's just like set up for pictures, though. Not for cosplay pictures, of course.
Right.
But it's set up. There's a little yellow box on the print. It used to say "Do not climb," and I photoshopped that out.
Okay.
My fiance does my photography, and I do the post because I'm like a graphic designer. That's what I was going to go to school for, and then this happened. So, and then this happened.
And then this happened. Suddenly I was cosplay.
So I actually was holding on to like kind of the guardrail, and I kicked my little feet up in those stiletto boots.
That's mid-flight, like literally mid-flight.
Oh yeah, and I was able to keep a nice sultry face with it too.
You are talented.
Thank you. It's a lot of, I don't know, you got to train your body. Modeling can be hard. And when I started out cosplaying when I was younger, I just wore like things that covered my face, or like I cosplayed boy characters and stuff. And I really found like kind of comfort in doing that, so I could just like do whatever and be my goofy self. And then kind of grew from there. But I was just like a goofy person. I never took photos. I just kind of like loved being inside the costume and being a goofy person at a convention. And then I learned about photography.
Right.
And it's, oh, okay. We take pictures of these things. Right. You know.
Yeah. Has your fan base ever surprised you with how supportive they've been to you at all?
Yes,
yeah?
I'm welling up with tears because I'm thinking about just recently I entered the Maxim Finest contest.
Yes.
Yes. So in my group, like I'm up against like super duper Instagram models, and I haven't done that much modeling myself except for cosplay and then like a few just me shoots.
Right.
And then I put all my pictures up there, and I'm like, I don't know, because my friend kind of talked me into it. She's like, why don't you do it? I'm like, I don't know. But I did it, and I posted on my social media, and like, I started out in like 42nd place. Within the same day, all of my fans like voted and pushed me up to first place. And
Holy
they kept
crap.
me like in first, second, third area for 2 weeks. And then finally it came down to the wire, and I ended up being in third. But it was like incredible. So much support, and you had to vote daily, and so many people were just like, yes, I voted daily, I am voting daily, I bookmarked the page. And it was so, like, just so much, and I'm just, whoa. Like, we could do anything, guys. Like, not why am I wasting my time on this, but it's like, this was on a whim. What if we actually focused on something really cool that we could do together? And that's kind of like, that surprised me, and from that surprise, I'm trying to plan things that me and my community, I call them my mafia or cult. They're kind of my cult now, because, like, such surprising support. So obviously, it is cult status now. Me and my cult are going to do some crazy things in 2018.
The Cult of Mayhem does have a ring to it, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, doesn't it? I love it.
So for anyone who's not a part of the cult, how can they become a part of the cult by following you on social media?
Oh yeah, so I have a website. Everything can be found there at TheMediaJack.com.
Okay.
Or you can find me on any social media at SLMissy or /SLMissy on whatever you want. Twitch, Facebook, Twitter. I love Twitter. Please hit me up on there. Instagram and Snapchat.
Cool. Do you do YouTube?
Oh yes, I forgot to mention. I do YouTube very sparsely. I put a lot of fitness stuff on there.
It was an incredible experience to be a part of the Haunted Maze. Now, I had the job of being out front and just listening to people scream and people react, while you, Reece, were one of the actors, and not just one of the actors. In fact, you are, I would dare say, a great reason as to why people reacted so well and so frighteningly well, due to your skill of not just being an actor, but your makeup and your artistry and your talent for just having that imagination is just incredible. Thank you for joining me today.
Thank you so much. I'm really excited to be here.
So, the Haunted Maze was an absolute success, and for me, it gives me an opportunity to meet new people who have these incredible skills and hobbies and interests. And the first time I saw you in makeup, which I think is like the first time I ever met you.
Yeah.
You had the big orange.
Always.
Yeah, which you had the big orange wig on, and your face was done up absolutely, utterly, incredibly, and you had these contacts in, but still, it was mind-boggling because, dare I say for myself, there's this incredibly creepy clown with a giant smile on her face, but at the same time, like, this is someone rather attractive underneath all that stuff. It's plain to see. But you did makeup for yourself as well as Jackie, and you helped out Tyler with what was underneath his mask.
Yeah, underneath his mask. I did all of the dolls. And then I had an assistant help me with the zombies because there was like 8 of them and I couldn't get through them all.
How long have you been doing makeup, and has this always been an interest of yours?
It has always been an interest of mine, but I didn't start taking it seriously until about 4 years ago, and then I've been doing it professionally for 3 years.
Really?
Yeah.
What got you into this?
I'm actually a huge film fanatic. I have a crazy passion for movies, specifically horror movies.
Big surprise.
Yeah, right? Specifically horror movies, you know, can you tell?
Yeah.
But I feel like special effects makeup is more prominent in horror movies with the gore and the creepy characters and stuff like that. And my brother used to be a director. Like, that was his huge thing when he was younger. He's in his late 30s now, but he loved horror movies a lot, and he's the one who made it really prominent in my life. And I was like, oh man, I want to do this too. And so we used to make like short films and stuff, and he'd let me act in them and then do the makeup for them. And it was just literally a fun brother and sister thing, but then it kind of turned into something.
Really?
Yeah.
Are these films and videos and whatnot like available for other people to see?
I think he might have a couple of them on YouTube, but otherwise they were just kind of like little home films and school projects and stuff. If you go to PGSS, I know that they've got a few of them on file.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So your interest in makeup stems from you working with your brother and also your own personal interest in horror flicks?
Yes.
Yes. Did your parents find that odd?
My parents thought I was a weird kid, but they didn't think anything was, like, wrong.
Okay.
They were like, okay, she really loves dress up, she likes to act, and she likes movies and stuff like that. They didn't like how much I tried to get them to like my horror movies, because they are not fans, but they always were really supportive of it, and they always found it, like, really crazy, like, the stuff that I do, because my mom's a painter, and my dad used to be a hairdresser, so they're into the beauty world and stuff like that, too, and so they always just thought it was really interesting my version of that world.
A lot of people get frustrated when they take on incredible projects or when they have an interest. Like, say, for example, when I wanted to learn how to play piano or guitar, actually more recently, I found myself getting frustrated because I didn't know all the chords right away. My fingers just could not work in the right positions and whatnot. Your makeup and your artistry is just phenomenal.
Thank you.
But did you ever find yourself at a point where it's like you're frustrated and how come I can't do this the way I have it in my mind? Like, has there been a struggle to get to the point where you are now?
There wasn't a great struggle other than the fact that I work very low budget and I can't afford any big makeup. So Actually, I guess you would say that was a struggle and still can be a struggle, but now I found products that seem to work for me, but I can't afford like all the crazy silicones and latex and stuff, so I started making my own makeup, and so I use like things that you find in your home and like the dollar store and stuff. Like, I can use crayons for lipstick, I use watercolor paint palettes from the dollar store for vein work and things. Like,
wow.
That's actually probably the biggest struggle that I had, was having the materials to do what I want to do, and there's still some things because I don't have specific materials that I can't do. And like I dream about doing it when I can afford
One
it.
day.
Yeah, right.
But working from the ground up, I mean, you find your own path. You find your own voice when it comes to working with makeup and I keep saying artistry because really it's an art what you do.
Thank you.
But you find your own ways to have your own little take and taste on things. Like everything that you do is essentially yours because you figured out different ways and you've figured out unique ways and cost-effective ways to have incredible work done, right?
Yeah, you always find ways to get around what you love to do, right? If you're really passionate about it, you'll figure it out, right? Just like learning guitar, if you're really passionate about it, I'm sure you'll catch it, right?
Yeah, eventually, like calluses do form.
No doubt, hey. I know the feeling.
We'll go back to the Haunted Maze. What was it like seeing people that either familiar with you or you met me for the first time and the look on like those people's faces when you were all done up?
I love it.
Seeing that reaction?
Yeah, it feels really good and rewarding for me, whether they're happy looks or scared looks. If it's scared, it means I'm doing my job. If it's happy, it means like somebody appreciates it. It's almost a different feeling, and it feels really good because like I'm a pretty like socially awkward person. Like I have some pretty bad social anxiety, and I feel like when I'm in my costumes, I'm a lot more confident, and so it feels really good when everyone's like, I'm able to talk to them about it and things like that. And when it's something that I love, I'm like comfortable and totally fine with chatting about it. And it's really good when people ask questions about it or they give compliments, or like you're going through the maze and you scare someone and they get scared and then all of a sudden they're like, whoa, your face looks really cool. And you're like, well, gee, thanks. Like, I'm glad that's what you're thinking about. Feels pretty good.
You do other things other than makeup, right?
Yes, I do.
What else do you do?
I draw and I paint and I oh my goodness, I don't know now that I'm on the spot. I do a lot, actually. I have a lot of hobbies. I'm a huge collector, so I collect like antiques, and I have like a ginormous horror movie collection. Nice. And things like that. And I attend FanCon. I'm a costume designer, so I sew a lot of clothes and things like that. So yeah, basically everything artistic.
Do you model or cosplay yourself?
Yes, I do. I have been modeling, actually. I guess that's a pretty big thing. I've been modeling for about 2 years now, and it all started from FanCon, being a cosplay goer there. I had a couple people give me their cards and asked to like contact them and stuff, and then I did, and I ended up starting to like work with these people, and now I've probably done over a dozen shoots and things, so that's been a pretty recent thing. And I remember thinking that was pretty crazy because after a while, a lot of the people didn't want me to model for just costumes. They wanted me to model just as a person. They liked my own style, and I remember thinking that was wild because I was like, oh man, like I'm known for makeup and you like my face? Like, what?
What's good? What,
yeah.
Just me?
Right? I remember thinking that was crazy. I was like, oh wow, really? I'm flattered.
What do you prefer? Do you prefer to model cosplay, like in full makeup and gear, or do you find this new route interesting to you?
I think I'm really curious about this new route of just modeling with the fashion area because I always was very into fashion as a kid, and that's why I like to sew clothes and stuff like that. And I do enjoy doing beauty makeup too, and it's fun to kind of challenge myself to get more like feminine and less crazy with makeup and stuff like that, so that's always fun. And I like going with themes and things like that, so in a way the modeling just as me as a person is still kind of in a theme because they'll be like, okay, let's do like an 80s kind of inspired shoot, but like what would you be in the 80s kind of thing. And so I'd say they're about like roughly the same, but then obviously I love the cosplay photos because that's where I feel most comfortable in.
What would be your ideal photo shoot? Let's say someone approaches you, said, you name the place, you name the time, you name the outfits, whatever you want to do, no budget whatsoever. Would it be a strictly Reece photo shoot, or would you try to incorporate some of your other interests into that photo shoot?
I would try to incorporate my other interests into that photo shoot.
Yeah.
While you said that, the first word that came to mind for me was avant-garde. So I would probably go for high fashion, Victorian-esque kind of avant-garde thing where it's still modern, and then I would try to go a little creepy about it. Yeah, so I'd probably do something that with like harsh reds and whites and blacks, very like bold colors.
Almost Sin City-esque?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah, I would say that for sure, with like a little like Victorian kind of flair on it, kind of like Michael Hussar, a painter I'm a fan of. I also do photography too, I guess.
Multifaceted is a good thing.
That's why I have my own like Reece Alexis Artistry, because I do a variety of things.
So everything is settled down from the Haunted Maze, and I keep using it as a reference point because, my goodness, it took up a lot of people's time.
Yes, it did.
Yeah.
2 months worth.
2 months worth, no kidding. Did you already have an inspiration, an idea for what you wanted yourself to look like, as well as Jackie and the other actors, when you went into that?
When I went into it, I knew exactly what I wanted the zombies to look like, because I like to do a generic zombie. I did makeup for the commercial for Zombie Fest a couple years ago, and so I think that's when I started the zombie makeup, and then as well as the zombies that were in the maze the year prior. So the zombies are very easy for me. I just do generic zombie makeup. That's my sort of style, because there's obviously like a million styles of zombie. The dolls, I struggled with a bit because I've never really done pretty simplistic creepy. I always go really detailed into my work, but with the porcelain dolls it was very like straightforward, you know, just big eyes, a couple cracks, and bold lip and eyes. So for that one I had to do some thinking about. And as for the clown, that was actually Chris Bennett's idea. He sent me a photo of a clown on Facebook, and he was like, you don't get a choice, you're gonna be a clown. And I was like, okay, I'd love to be a clown. I was very excited. I was like, yeah, I'd love to be a clown, because I've always wanted to do a clown makeup, so I was really pumped about it. And then as for the gothy kind of style and twist that I put onto the clowns that were Jackie, Stormy, Welch, and I, we for that, it's really just kind of a personal choice that I just kind of decided to make it a little more spooky, less happy clown. And then it also tied in a little bit because with the zombies and the dolls, everyone had like a detail of black with them. So the black eyes and mouth were the detail that I chose for the clowns, because I like my makeups to coordinate just a little bit.
So they're part of a set.
Yeah.
That's clever.
Thank you.
That's awesome. What is in store? What is in the future for Reece?
Oh man,
What?
I just work really hard. I do a lot of makeups. Honestly, I just kind of wake up in the morning and I decide to do these things. I do have a couple photo shoots in store coming soon. 2 of them will be beauty shoots, and then 1 will be a makeup shoot. Otherwise, I'm trying really hard to get to art school. I'm trying to work up some money for that, hopefully in like the Okanagan or down lower, because that's where the venue is for artists, right? Like, unfortunately, like, I love Prince George so much, and I've actually gotten a lot of work here. I was surprised by it when I like came out professionally for the makeup. But to make a living off of it, which is what I would love to do, I can't achieve that in such a small town. And with a town that has less, we have artistic culture here, but not as big as if you were to go somewhere, say like Edmonton or Vancouver.
Yeah, Vancouver is known as Hollywood North.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, like the film and television and movie industry down in Lower Mainland is just insane.
Yeah.
So and like it makes totally makes sense to want to, you know, further your career in a bigger market.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. That's how you become successful, right? Getting clientele.
What projects would you like to achieve, and what projects should we look out for from you in the near future?
In the near future, I would say I want to really badly do, and I've been talking with a photographer about it, a local photographer, that I really want to do a collaboration shoot with more than one people in it that I can completely dress up and stuff. Like, I really don't mind if I'm in the shoot at all. Like, I just want to be able to work on a photo set and do all of these models and stuff like that, to have them shot and then be able to look at that and be like, oh man, I was part of this photo shoot. Like, that felt so good, right? Because I feel like that's a lot of what I would be doing if I was Lower Mainland, was working outside of shoots, as well as doing my own personal work. But I feel like that would be more separate. Like, if I were to go career-wise, I feel like I would be more behind the scene. I also really want to continue. I started a little set of characters that were from classic horror movies that I did without use of prosthetics. Like, that was specifically my challenge for it.
Mhm.
And I got 3 of them done, and I still want to do more.
Really?
Yeah.
Cool.
But yeah, I'd say those are pretty the closest things, because really it's just point work, right?
Is there any chance of a Reece calendar coming out?
I've kind of thought about doing stuff like that, but I don't know if anyone would buy it. I've also considered greatly making, purchasing a booth in FanCon. Yeah, and then selling prints and stuff, and then even like, because one girl who was there, I feel really bad because I don't remember her name at the moment, but she was part of Canada Cosplay store, and she was doing Captain Canuck makeup while people were walking around. She had like a mirror there and everything and a whole vanity, and she was doing her makeup at FanCon, and I remember thinking that was really cool.
Kay Pike.
Okay, perfect. You know who she is.
Yes, I do.
Awesome. Yeah,
Yeah.
like I feel so bad. I can't remember her name.
No, it's fine.
But I remember thinking that was really cool, and everybody actually thought it was pretty interesting too. And I always forget that people want to see my work, like how I do it.
Mm-hmm.
And I found that more recently in this past year when I started getting a little bit more known for my makeup through the internet. A lot of people ask me to do YouTube tutorials and stuff like that, so I have also considered making a YouTube channel to
Mhm.
make it into more of a tutorial-based thing, but I'm not positive yet.
Okay. Have you thought about maybe doing a workshop, like a local workshop?
I've never considered that. No, I don't even know how you go about that.
Ideas that we can talk
Yeah,
about
no,
later.
for sure.
Yeah. Where can people find you on social media?
People can find me on social media at any of the @, including Facebook, Instagram, and if you just look it up in Google, Little XX Sanity, LITTLEXXSANTY.
Oh, that's easy enough.
Yep. Right?